Hello, Internet. You're listening to the In Your House Comedy Podcast with the Babyface and his fellow funny friend. Now hold on to your butts. Keep your arms and legs inside the podcast at all times. Prepare to have an autographical orgasm in 3, 2, 1.
So how you doing, Lukeman, anyway? How are you?
I'm good, brother man. Passing through, like, bless the podcast. You know, what's up? First ever guest, honoured.
It's always weird, isn't it, when you got a camera straight? Like, as soon as you whack the camera on, it's like, I don't know how to act, my arms down, I'm going to go here.
No, I'm fine, you know.
I do, that's what I'm saying every time. So yeah, man, I know you got a few things coming at the moment then.
Yeah.
Fill us in, just tell us.
So, I'm just towards the end, I've just finished my first year in comedy. And just been sort of putting the mileage in on the road, basically, writing more material, just trying to, progress a little bit, and also just sort of learn the craft. I've done some good shows recently. I did opens at ROFL in Stoke, and I also did...
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
Also did Hot Water in Liverpool. And then I've got a few other good ones coming up as well, which I know I'll put information about on the internet soon.
We will put information on the description and stuff too. Everything will be on there.
In October, for the Birmingham Comedy Festival, October 10th at the Church and in the Jewellery Quarter.
Good venue.
Yes,
I like that venue, yeah.
Nice venue.
Nice. Michael Harris only that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Me, Shamsaman and Sachin Kumar Endran are putting on a comedy special for the Birmingham Comedy Festival. Absolute culture smash. The name was a bit random. It was more so, we heard you get an A in it, you get in the beginning of the book, and I was getting the application at the last minute. So...
was it just one of them, just like you came with a name, just stuck with that one?
Well, no, we had a few names that were going on, and Sham was leaning more towards one, me towards another. I was filling in the application.
I got to know this.
I think it was Awesome Comedy Smash.
Oh, that's alright.
It was alright. I thought it was more generic. I don't know. I thought culture smash, like we smash your culture. I don't know.
I like the both. So yeah.
I liked the.
And it's you,
Me, Sachin Kumar Endran and Shamsaman. So me and Sachin, I think we'll do a half an hour each. We're just going to tie together some of the material that I've worked on, and then plus some new bits as well, and just tie it in with a sort of cohesive theme. Yeah. I'm not going to Edinburgh or anything. Like, I feel a bit too green for that, so I'm maybe going to wait a year or two, and then just sort of build my repertoire a bit more, because when I do go down, I don't expect that, I'll kill and, like, take over the world from going there the first time. But
well, me and you are on the same kind of level in that sense, because I've been doing it now I was about like 3 or 4 months behind you, so what you're saying about, you feel you don't want to do it yet because you're too green, I'm the same in that, like, that's why I'm not too big of a fan of taking paid gigs at the moment, because I want to do that when I'm good and ready, I don't want to jump in that straight away.
Yeah, well, sometimes, even if you do get an opportunity to do something and you know that it's, like, beyond your skill level, sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes it's great to take a risk. Like, I've taken risks and have paid off, but then there are other ones where you will be out of your depth, and that might be an opportunity that in the future, like, that's wasted, because it was like, that situation, went viral or something of that nature.
And just for experience as well, more than anything, sometimes the best experience is falling on your ass.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, bombing was an interesting part of of getting into comedy, because I was always into stand-up from when I was younger, and I'd read a lot of stand-up comedians' autobiographies, and they always talked about it sort of as like baptism by fire, and they're like, you need to go there, you need to just let yourself die on stage. Obviously, you want to try and be good, don't go there and be shit on purpose. That's not the point. But the point is, when that's happening to you, that it doesn't break you, like, you can just handle it, and you're just like, I'll go back out tomorrow, I'll go and do another set now.
That's what you need to do as well.
And you need that thickening of the skin, and I'm still early days in, and I've only had the tip of the iceberg of that. Like, I have bombed, and I've not had anything astronomical. People are like, get off the stage.
I can imagine you being someone like me that kind of, it sucks bombing, of course, you don't want to bomb, but when you do, kind of fun though as well sometimes. I have a weird enjoyability out of it. I can't help it. It's like, when you get that noise when like you're saying something, people are like, oh, or that noise, you know, oh, I love that noise.
Well, some of the times when I've bombed, it was like, I don't know, just my material may not have been right for the audience. Other times, which I've looked back on retrospectively, I can see where my performance was different compared to other gigs, the energy I was bringing, how I said certain words, how I delivered certain jokes. So, like, being quite critical of myself, not to the point where, I'm tearing myself apart, but where I'm just watching notes and I'm like, this joke went well this time when I delivered it like this, when I said it with this kind of charisma, this kind of body language. Some people don't need to do that because just it's already like that's the thing they've got, and maybe they need jokes, do you know what I mean? But they've got that element of themselves. And other people, like the showmanship element is something that you need to work on, like myself.
Yeah, well, that surprises me to be fair, because you always come across as quite confident on stage, so,
I am quite.
Well, it's different, I suppose, in showmanship, isn't it? It's like,
it's different because I am confident, but there's a difference between confident and learning little interaction tricks with the audience to get them to engage with you in the way that you want them to. So you can get them to engage with you in a way that they might dislike me. I'm like, this guy's an asshole. We're already on board with that and whatever. But it's like I need him to think I'm your homie, man. Come along with me on this comedy journey, please.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That kind of comes in perfectly to the next bit we're going to talk about anyway, like you. So what kind of comedy influences would you say you have? Who's some of your top people, comedian-wise, or anything funny people?
I've been into comedy since I was young. I think my dad was always into comedy as well. So I grew up listening to like Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor and stuff. And then when I got older, when I was just working out and stuff, when I used to have stand-up comedy albums on my iPod, and I'd have my iPod on shuffle, and in between a song, I'd get a joke. And I used to write a lot as well, like creative writing and that sort of stuff. So stand-up comedy sort of influenced the way I think and my decision-making process. That's probably not a good thing, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I was thinking of everything as a joke all along. People are telling me their most serious trouble.
Sounds like a good way to deal with life, to be honest.
Where is the punchline in this? He's dead, you say?
I hear you completely.
You know what I mean?
That's what they say, isn't it? You can either laugh or cry at most things. It's very true.
One of my favourite fucking things in comedy ever, Richard Pryor, he's got a bit about it when he was addicted to crack and he set himself on fire smoking crack, and he later revealed in his autobiography that he was trying to kill himself when he did this, even though he made a joke about it. And I was like, that would be like the worst news story ever. And it was like, crazy Richard Pryor set himself on fire with his crack pipe. And so I grew up listening to like that school of comedy, do you know what I mean? And British comedy is different, and there's great people and great craftsmen in it. Just in terms of the subject matter. And I was like, whoa, this dude's crazy, man. Like, I was like, I always loved that, like this unpredictable character, like.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like you said as well, the British scene is very different than the American scene. I've noticed that as well. But in the nicest way.
No, but British humour as well is known around the world for being some of the most intelligent.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
And that's what England has over it. Americans sometimes have to hit the nail on the head. British comedy can move around that and come at things from really different sort of nuanced angles sometimes. With a lot of subtlety and let's say like impeach or something like that, like embarrassment comedy, a level of satire where things are like so awkward, like I don't want to look at the screen. I'd die if that was me. I'd just kill myself. And Americans, a lot of them don't seem to get that humour, and that's why when shows translate over, instead of our ones where the laugh is like awkward within the room, they have to have a laugh that's on the beat, like boom, boom, tsh. Everyone's like, there was going to be a joke here.
There's no weirdness about it. It's just A to B.
A to B.
No, I hear you. But like a lot of my influence, more like before I got into comedy, was like films and stuff like that, like Martin Lawrence, people like that. They were just funny in films. But then when I started, I went for everyone. To be fair, I was just watching everyone, like.
I love Martin Lawrence. I love, I think it's You So Crazy, which is his famous stand-up from like the early 90s and stuff, I think maybe 94.
And SNL as well.
I never got into SNL. Like I never got into much sketch stuff. Like a lot of sketch shows have been very popular in England and America. There's been like Saturday Night Live, Monty Python, Little Britain. There's been so many things that have taken off, and I understand how that. To be fair, Chappelle Show. I was in the Chappelle Show, and I was like, I wonder if that culturally related more to me because I'm. I don't know. Is it all just a coincidence? I don't know. Yeah, just maybe because I grew up listening to a lot more Black American comedy. Yeah. But then when I was older, like George Carlin and David Cross and Dennis Leary, Bill Hicks, Louis C.K., those sort of people, and it was like more philosophical kind of comedy. And also, I think I got influenced very much by both sides of that. I think I always liked the attitude of the black comedy because, like, there was no, like...
More depth of the philosophical as well,
it was more so the stage presence. Like, Bernie Mac was one of my favourites ever, and it was just his stage presence.
One of those people that just died out of nowhere that you didn't know about? Well, you know...
Yeah, I think, he was, I watched an interview about that recently and said he was working himself to death and he had various health illnesses that could have been, prevented. But it was just his contracted work hours, he just stuck to the grind.
I can imagine that, yeah. He just comes across like that kind of person.
Yeah, but when he used to come on stage, he'd say, I ain't scared of none of you motherfuckers. And I was like, I used to love that shit. Like, and I was like, oh shit, he's not scared of us. And I was like, me as like, a big brother guy, I don't feel I can do that in like the fucking venues that I'm in. Like, wow. Yeah. I like Buster. I want to be like Buster Rhymes, but I'm not allowed. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a lot of comics say that, isn't it? That at the beginning is the hardest time because you haven't got that trust. Now, like when you're established, you walk into a room and you've already got that trust straight away.
When they know who you are, like I'm going to see this guy. Like I love Doug Stanhope, and he's one of those guys. Like, if someone was saying that stuff in a random bar, people would be appalled. Doug Stanhope is a certified legend. I was like, I've come to see that. I've paid specifically to see this man say those sorts of things, and just talk about those subjects that a lot of people just don't want to engage with. It's fair enough.
They're afraid to.
It's more so if comedy is just because.
Oh, you mean comics?
No, I'm talking about with the audience.
Okay.
I think because I've spoken with a lot of promoters about this. Some of the people, it's just their Friday or Saturday night entertainment. They want to get away from the troubles of the world, and then they've come to this person who's brought this hurricane of worldly problems that
you can see
conceived of. Like, you know what I mean? And if they're sensitive to the ills of the world, which some people are, and they have all right to be, then, do you know what I mean? Oh my God, the plight of the world. Yeah. And probably, as a lot of comics, we're already thinking about all that stuff all the time anyway, do you know what I mean? So it's just like, if you just see a scan of my brain, like, bad thing, is there any material in that bad thing? I said, even if it happens to me, I said to my pops, I was like, yo, if I ever got killed or died, and someone made a really funny joke about it. No, it's if I ever died, if I killed if I got murdered, if I got murdered, or if I died, but someone made a really funny joke about that, I would be okay with that, and I would want you not to kick off. And he was like, oh, fucking kill him, son. And I was like, I'm telling you from not beyond the grave, I'm telling you pre-grave, that if I die in some hilarious circumstances and someone has got something funny to say about it,
it better make that joke.
Yeah, just let them have it, man. Because I would have, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you completely. I'm down with that, myself.
I was like, I couldn't be a hypocrite, you know what I mean? It was like, I might make
completely. I'd rather to be plugged all over YouTube or whatever, just put everywhere than be all sad in a church. Yeah, it doesn't sound very good.
Actually, I think, like, they can have both. I reckon my wake will be popping. Like,
free bar. That's the main thing you need. As long as you cover the bar costs, then everyone will be sweet.
If anyone's ever watching this in the future and I'm dead, like, leave a comment to say if my wake was popping. That would be like, this would be like a time capsule if my career ever goes anywhere. Like, he said,
hopefully I won't be dead.
Yeah. Hopefully Carl won't be dead. He'll be alive to edit the comment section.
Okay, I know. Oh yeah, just I'm okay with my funeral, my wake, as long as it's not anything to do with the church. I'm happy. As long as you're away from the church, I'm good. But let's not get into the religious stuff anyway.
Funny comment on one thing in relation to comment sections. Before, me and a friend of mine were in a documentary. My friend was followed around for like a week in his life. My friend's gay and he's also a drag queen and stuff, but during the day he has like a sort of more normal office sort of corporate job.
By day, office accountant. By night,
cross-dresser, drag queen extraordinaire. And so this documentary crew were following him around for a week and stuff. And in it, one day, me and him go and kick it at a cafe, and we have a debate, I think, about gender identity, and also about monogamy and polyamory. And well, I'm like, with monogamy, I'm more so old school with that, you know what I'm saying? If I'm dating someone, I'm with someone, etc. But my friend, just philosophically, he's more a believer in, like, relationships don't exist, we're all one with the universe, kind of jazz. And I'm like, yo, it's fine if people want to do that.
If you're both down for that.
Don't you bring that in my house, don't you? Like, I was like, me and my girl just chilling and go, the polyamorous people are here. And I'm like,
what's polyamorous again?
So that is when you can have multiple partners and care about them at the same time or whatever. So,
it's basically like not being monogamous, but just being open about it.
Yeah, and some people it's fine if they want. That's the road they want to go down. Because I know people who have friends who do that. I know several, and they're like, "Yeah, that's fine. They're cool with it." Yeah. And then I was just like, I personally don't roll like that.
I can imagine that would stem from a lot of insecurities and stuff, just in general, like, you know, just that kind of, like, fair enough, do that thing, you know, I'm just where I'm seeing coming from.
Had a documentary about it recently. I think it was called Altered Love or Big Love or something. It was a Louis Theroux documentary. He goes and speaks to some polyamorous couples, and there were like women who've got like 2 gazers, and there are etc. and the opposite of that as well. And they're speaking to some of them, and these men look sad and defeated. I'm watching it, and these 2 gazers sharing this one chick, and they're like, "We love her so much, and all her decisions are really important to us." And then she wants to fuck one of the geezers, so she sends the other geezer upstairs to bed, and she's like, "Yo, we're gonna stay down here and fuck tonight.
Look a little for me.
You go upstairs to bed." And he's like, "Okay, dear." And then Louis Theroux says to him, "What do you do at night if you need to come down and get a drink or some food?" He goes, "I just make some noise at the top of the stairs and say, 'Hey guys, I'm coming down now.'" And I just thought, yo, bro, not me.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I can't imagine how anyone would be cool with that, like.
But, because you know what it is, in the documentary you can see that his heart is broken, and he's doing it because he loves this woman, he wants to do anything for her or whatever, and he said that he's fine with it. I'm watching the documentary, he's not fine with it, he just ain't got the balls to kill a motherfucker. I'm not saying he should kill him, I'm just saying...
We're not okay with violence.
No, we're not. But the point is that he shouldn't... Carl is not okay with violence.
Also the collection. But yeah, you want to kill the fool?
No, so I'm not saying I would want to kill him. I don't think it would happen to me. I think a female I was dating would think, I don't think Luke would appreciate it.
Come on.
It's alright. Avoiding that Ebola.
I'm ill.
I think they may assume. I don't think Luke would appreciate me asking if I could bring another gentleman into our bed. I think they could, have an educated guess. I was like, I'm setting this house on fire. She's like, we don't even live here.
Yeah, man.
This is your friend's house. You shouldn't have told me here.
Oh, sweet for time, cool. I didn't mention this about you as well with the surnames. There seems to be a lot of people in the British comedy scene that have, like yourself, to have the surname Mick, like Mcdonnell, good old Ethan McKinley, McCow. Yeah, you brought up a really good point though when I mentioned this to you earlier.
I said I don't, not to shit on Carl's point.
It's a perfectly valid point though.
But I don't find it to be obscure because England is in the UK and Scotland and Ireland, Mac is like sort of the prefix for Celtic names. So you're going to have a lot of Macs in the UK.
It makes perfect fucking sense,
I've resolved that plot point.
Example of me being a smart person that says dumbass things. He gets pointed at very easily. Oh, yeah, but, do you want to take a break there, actually? It feels like more of a natural break there. Or do you not want to?
I say keep rolling.
Yeah, okay. Any other stuff you want to talk about? Let's talk about what you mentioned, actually. The new James Bond. You mentioned this, didn't you?
Okay, oh yeah, so it was announced that the mantle of James Bond would be taken up by a black female actress, a chick who was in the new Captain Marvel film. She was a pilot, apparently. I didn't watch Captain Marvel. I actually took like a 2-year sabbatical from superhero films.
Oh.
Like, I'd been...
Wait, whoa, we need to dismantle that. During Infinity War and Endgame, main time over those 2 years, you decided to take a break from superhero films.
Yeah, about 2 years ago. Like, the last shit I saw before my sabbatical was Logan, I think, and I really enjoyed that.
Oh, that was a good film,
And I went to the cinema with my cousin like a Friday or a Saturday night. We were like, you know what, let's not go out drinking. We'll have a wholesome evening. Went to the cinema, like 2 brothers going to the cinema. And we went and watched that, and it was fun. It was packed out, full of geezers. Everyone, it was like a midnight Saturday night show, and we're leaving. Everyone was sad. It was like we're leaving a funeral. No one talked.
Film.
We were all walking to our car like, oh my God. Logan.
I found it hilarious. I remember the one thing I remember from that film was at the beginning, the fact that, because it was the first X-Men film where they had an R rating so they could be violent, they could swear. Yeah. And the whole first 5 minutes is basically Logan and Professor X doing as many F-bombs as they could fit in, like just loving the fact that they can drop F-bombs now. I remember that from the beginning of that film.
So I decided I'd had enough of them. Not that superhero films weren't good, it's that everything was a superhero film or a giant robot film, like everything in the cinema. So like, say 10, 15 years ago, when I used to go to the cinema a lot more frequently, I used to love to go and see a comedy like a Farley Brothers movie, so, you know, like Me, Myself and Irene, or something like a Ben Stiller, Will Ferrell related comedy, or I'd like to go see like a gangster flick, so like a Martin Scorsese flick, or a Quentin Tarantino flick, which are infrequent anyway, still does flicks. But those are the kind of things that I would go to the cinema for on a Friday night. Do you know what I mean? The superhero stuff was fine, and that was like a treat every once in a while. But every film being over CGI madness, and I was like, you can kill me with a film with just 2 guys in a car going somewhere funny.
They're sometimes the best films.
You know what I mean? That's all you need. And I'm like, we've got this guy who's like this, and we've got another guy who's like this. They're gonna go here.
They don't even have names, just the guy and the other guy. Yeah.
Hey, fat guy. Well, he's always the straight man, the comedy guy. That was always your classic comedy setup forever, is that you have one guy who's a really serious, no-nonsense guy. And he works with females as well.
Works with double acts in general.
The Heat with Sandra Bullock and...
Melissa McCarthy.
That was
so funny.
That was wicked. I watched that and I was like, if they make a second one, I'll go see it in the cinema.
I'll be down for that,
Because I didn't watch the first one in the cinema because I just didn't have faith in it. Cause
it's a commitment going to the cinema. I've said this before. It is a commitment. You got to go in. You'll probably have to spend extra money. It's cheaper now, but either way, you're going to be sat there for 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours of getting. It's a commitment. There you go.
Well, I just felt with everything being a superhero film, it was like, I'm paying for the same film. I'm like, literally. And also, I think a lot of the few big cinematic risks where I did take to go to the cinema the last few years, I was pissed off. When I went to see Last Jedi, I was...
that was a terrible film.
I was so fucking just...
It was...
I've seen
Did you like the one before?
It was alright. It was alright. So I loved it more for just nostalgia and the fact it was Star Wars. I've rewatched it since, and as I say,
Force Awakens. Sorry, I couldn't think of it.
The Force Awakens. So the Force Awakens, it wasn't awful. When I first watched it, I was like, oh yeah, man, 8.5. Rewatched 7.5.
Is this Last Jedi or Force Awakens?
No, Force Awakens. Yeah. Last Jedi, I'm leaning more towards a 5. Which is like probably say the harshest rating a Star Wars film has ever got. But I didn't watch the Han Solo film.
Yeah, that's the one I didn't bother after that.
Do you know what it is?
Before that, sorry.
Do you know what it is though?
Rogue One killed it for me.
With the Han Solo film, I've never not heard loads of people I know when a Star Wars film is dropping tell me they're going to see it. Like, whenever a Star Wars film coming up, people just come to me like, hey bro, you got to see that Star Wars film on the weekend? I'd be like, oh, maybe I'll catch it a week or two when it's quieter. And I would have that in the build up to Star Wars dropping. And then the few weeks afterwards, I know people used to do, I'm going to see it twice, 3 times in all the other ones.
It was when they only brought out the films that mattered, like episode 7, Force Awakens, Episode 8, you know, but now they're doing the Star Wars stories a little.
So, do you know what it is though?
Yeah.
If the writing had as much weight to them, and do you know what it is? A lot of the companies now, they're not hiring writers who keep to the continuity of the universe. And to all of the people who are actually really nerds and fans of the shit or whatever, I was with Game of Thrones, like I've read the first couple of books and shit. And similar to,
Oh, okay.
And then similar to comic books, like I used to love comic books myself when I was younger. I've got like old comic books in plastic wrapping in the crib. I was really into like the X-Men lore and mythology and that sort of stuff. Oh, cool. So when you get the people who are the actual fans who've actually bought into the universe and proper like, this is how the mechanics of your universe works. When you just sell that and make another writer write it who doesn't respect those things or take that into consideration.
You need to be a fan.
And then we're just like, we want you to make it so it ticks all these current agenda boxes. We need to market to these demographics of these sorts of people. We need a toy for a Chinese kid. We need a toy for a black kid. We need a toy for a Mexican kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I get it, I guess.
And so as a marketing plan, and do you know what it is? It's part of what they call synergy strategy. I remember talking about this in college back in the day, and I think it was Casino Royale that we spoke about the marketing with this on. So,
the film.
Yeah. So basically, it's when multiple interests all have investment in a certain big product that's going to affect different things. So let's say Casino Royale, I think when it dropped at the time, there was a car that was Aston Martin. They had a new brand of car that was going to be marketed with it. They had a watch. I think there was a phone. I think there was a Sony Ericsson phone. There was an advert directly tied into the phone. So through all these different brands and all these different products, they were marketing it everywhere. So the film wasn't just making money through the film. There was so much corporate investment in the mechanics of this film turning over for it to fail, and then you get that with a lot of the Disney, Marvel, Star Wars.
Marvel definitely, especially
because Disney owns everything now.
So they
monopoly now. So
Star Wars, Marvel.
Them having the monopoly, unfortunately. I hope this doesn't ever get me blacklisted from working for Disney. But
that's a pretty good thing to be fair for a comic, I imagine. But not the worst thing.
But if they own all the film companies in town, get me blacklisted. Not that, to be fair, I'm sure I could be blacklisted for many other reasons, and none of them being black. All because of my terrible behaviour. But so in relation to that, with Disney having a monopoly, I think like the same way they did with Star Wars, I think it'll start to happen to other things where they round off the rough edges of the product that keep sort of the more hardcore fans ingrained.
Try and make it more mainstream.
Make it simpler to sell it to more people and to be like, the people who made this product big, a cultural phenomenon. It happens with everything.
Which is a good thing, I think. You can argue that needs to happen if you're going to take it from a niche cult audience. You need to do something to it to be able to make it mainstream. I get that, but you've got to keep the quality of what it was originally.
I'm going to disagree on an art perspective. On a commercial perspective, I agree. And that happens with everything. So with comedy, with comic books, with hip-hop. So the core of the underground scene, which makes it where things are sort of raw. And to make it more marketable and palatable to the mainstream, to make it as commercially viable as possible, make a business and make a living off of it. But then there's the other side of what it was truly for in the first place. So let's say hip hop specifically, when you get like a lot of rappers now who even American rappers who like the viral SoundCloud sort of people and they're like, yo, I don't even rap, man. I just rap because it gets me money and I like drugs. And it was like,
we all like drugs.
Well, yes, that's fair enough. But I grew up listening to the 90s rappers, where your skill as a rapper was your badge, your mark of honor. So people like Nas and Biggie and Tupac, Wu-Tang and people like that. And it was I know I'm a last of a dying breed. A lot of people don't care. They're just I just want to hear the nice beat. He's saying some nice words. Yeah, I'm in the club. I've got a car. He's got a gun. That's who we are.
Do that over and over,
So it's fair enough because that's what it is. depends what you like in entertainment. So for some people,
you got to find that balance. That's what it is.
That's what it is. I like, you know what I mean. It's not that I'm not like guilty of like liking trash entertainment. I do like trash entertainment sometimes. Some things are like highbrow, some things are like lowbrow. Do you know what I mean? Like,
are you a fan of Love Island, for example?
No, I'm not.
I don't get that at all. It's basically Big Brother where they're encouraged to fuck. That's all I can get from it.
A show that I do love, I wouldn't say it's dissimilar to Love Island. The Jail, 60 Days In.
I can imagine what that is, but go on.
So I had this idea like 10 years ago, and I thought about it, and people said to me, they would never let you make that. Like, it would be like human rights violations. And I was like,
World changed a lot in 10 years.
And then, but it's happened in America anyway. So the show, The Jail, 60 Days In, people go voluntarily and spend 60 days in an American prison.
Oh, it's not even criminals, it's just people go and do it.
It's normal people, but you voluntarily go into the prison. The guards don't know you're a prisoner, and the other contestants don't know you're a prisoner.
Oh, okay. And they're in there with normal
prisoners. So you're just in prison.
Yeah,
so there's no. So the cameras are on you. Yeah. And basically, if something happens to you, you've got to fight. It's normal. But you can get to if you can get to the phones. There are phones on the wing. You can dial like the emergency number and get yourself removed from the wing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because obviously you know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great, don't you? To be fair.
But if you phone the number and get yourself removed, you lose the money and you come out. But let's say you're doing 60 days, you could be on day 57 and you got some beef with some brothers on the wing car.
You could get killed, man. Like, you know, I'm guessing they would beat other people that are in there, make sure they're not violent people, you know, overly violent.
Well, no, because what it is, no, you're in a proper prison. They're in a proper prison, like.
Yeah, but they wouldn't put you in like a maximum security prison with the worst of the worst.
So no, it's a state prison with people who are awaiting trial. So people are on trial for varying degrees, from minor to max or whatever.
And at the same time, they're people that you'd imagine don't want to do anything because it's just going to fuck them over more. That's as far as
there are fights in it.
Yeah,
there are fights in it. So
I mean, like, they'll just fucking kill you for no
reason. Yeah. So the joy is they're not cutting them. They're not. You know what I mean? Like, it's not getting that gritty or whatever. Like, but who knows? Maybe in future seasons, or maybe they edit that shit out. But so they put on a range of contestants. So some of them will be just normal working class Joes who've not even like been like in a sort of working class or like hood sort of environment before, and then there'll be others who grew up around that, who's like maybe like, oh, my dad spent his whole life in jail and I've always wondered what his life was like, so I'll do it as a social experiment. There's
I can imagine that. It's something that would sound quite interesting to me. I can imagine doing this.
A few military guys go in or whatever. And the military guys straight up handle it. I can't even lie. They're just I was in the military, I'm doing my thing, and people just sort of show them that respect. And I'm just but also, you don't get caught lying and saying you was in the military, because one of the contestants called out another guy on that, because he was like, "You weren't a Marine. I can tell you weren't a Marine from your like body language and your behaviour."
I can tell you ain't a Marine.
Yeah. It's one of the contestants said it to a guy in there who was saying that he was a Marine.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, "You're not. I can just tell. Marines operate, move, and think in a certain way from the way you've been trained. You don't have that in you." And so that was something they took quite seriously. But there was a few guys who like started crying as soon as they went in there. And as I say, I can imagine. I'm not saying prison would be nice. I've never been to prison. I imagine it's horrible.
Depends on the person.
But the point of it being, like, I asked a few people about this. So for £60,000, was it £50,000? $50,000 US, 60 days in a US prison in the Midwest.
37 to us, something like that.
Yeah. I've asked a lot of people, would they go in for this? Carl, would you do the 60 days in US jail?
I'd like to say I would. Right now, I say I would. I don't know about US jail, though.
No, specifically. That's where you're going, Carl. That's where you're going.
I say yes, I would, but I can imagine being one of those people that when I get in there, I'm like, oh, I thought there was going to be a bit more, protection in this. I'm literally in a prison.
There's not protection.
I'm saying that's what I think,
No, but what happens is, when it happens, and if mans will come test you, you've got to back it, innit?
Mans will come test you.
Well, they will. I'm sorry. I'm explaining to this prison documentary to Carl, like, he's going to go in and say, I just hope everyone will be nice to me. And I was like, Carl, is that what you think it's going to be like?
I'm very used to people not being nice to me, don't worry.
Yeah, as I say, I don't know if I'd take it. Like, maybe when I was younger.
I reckon you would. I reckon you take it. 50 grand as well, it's a lot of money.
I could do with the 50 grand. But at the moment, and I'm like, life's kind of okay. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like...
Don't want to get stabbed at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years.
A few years ago, I might have took that or whatever. And there were some contestants on the programme, because there's a female section as well, so some women go into the female section of the jail, and it's a lot more mind games there than a lot of physical attacks, a lot of people like bullying.
That's what you see throughout all the school, aren't you, doing that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, so some people at the end of the 60 days or whatever, some people double up and agree to do another 60 days. They're like, we'll offer you another 50 grand to do another 60 days.
Wow, okay. Did they take it?
One guy did. I think one of the Marines took it.
And he was a Marine.
And I was like, he's a badass. But like, he's not really, it's more so that he's just very physically fit. He was combat apt. He knew things already. He was quite intelligent. People had a lot of respect for him, and they were like, you can tell that he's quite a sharp character. It's
like you hear about that, like the kind of person that when they've been through their lives, they'll walk into a room and they won't be paranoid about it, but they'll instantly think, what would be my way out? What would I do here if this happened? And that in prison, I imagine that would be really helpful.
Yeah, so it was just an entertaining show, but also some of the people went in there and made wicked friendships with people as well and shit, do you know what I mean? So there were people whose perceptions changed of things as well, and they met people who were just kind of like them, and they're like, you're just a dude like me. I could have easily been in this situation.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who was a black dude, I think he was from Chicago or somewhere, and I think he was in university or something. He was a tall dude. But, like, you know, you can tell he was, like, from the hood. But I think his brother was a gangster, and brother went to prison. He sort of wanted to experience what his brother would be experiencing a bit. Yeah. But just because of where he was from, he was able to carry himself in a way where they just all believed it. Exactly, and he was a cool kid as well.
No, we were saying that earlier, weren't we? Because people don't think that of me, but I'm someone who's grown up in all those areas, like, chav areas, basically. So I have, like, a confidence to myself, and as long as you have that, like, in the comedy world, I think it helps a lot.
Carl wants to scrap.
That's what I'm all about. I just love the fight. I just love it.
He wants to give it a good business.
And we will be right back after the messages from our sponsors. There's not too many. There might be nudity. Hey.
So first little sponsor that we're going to talk about, the Holly Bush. The Holly Bush is an awesome little pub in Cradley Heath. I've been there a few times myself as well. It's, like I said, it's a nice little pub. It's proper chilled out in there. It's proper cosy as well. People all sound. And yeah, it's just a fun, chilled out night. Any acts that want to go down, anyone is free to go. It's open to everyone. Any open mic in the Midlands area, you can come from freaking Australia if you want to, if you can get down. Anyone's welcome. You don't need to show a video portfolio like you have to in some places. This place is so inviting for new people that it will not only forego the whole video profile, but it will actually create one with you. It will record your set if you want, and then you can take it home with you and you can start your own portfolio from there. Oh, so good, so good. So yeah, man, I highly advise it. Like I said, all the description, the links will be in the description below. God, it's late today. Oh, I've done too much of this. I need to stop. I keep thinking it's real. Anyway, so I want to make sure I get it all in there. The Bush, Cradley Heath, every Thursday. This weekend, depending on when this goes out, it should be this weekend. It's Bushfest, so highly advise you come down for that. There'll be some more pro comics on. There'll be more up and comers like myself, you know, the guys that you'll see on here a lot more, and more of the pros as well. So yeah, man, come down. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck you wouldn't, to be quite honest. It's a chill little place. Find it online, find it on Facebook, find it on Google, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just get down to the fucking Bush. Bee! Okay, next guys, it's all about Fat Penguin Improv Comedy Centre. That is not a name you're going to forget. Fat Penguin Improv Comedy Centre. These are some awesome guys. I've spoken to them a few times, done some of the gigs that they do as well. They do quite a few things. Good guys to speak to. It's Birmingham's home for improv, clown and sketch workshop. So if you live in Birmingham, you live anywhere nearby like I do, like everyone should, it's the most beautiful shithole in the world. But if you do, and you're thinking, you know what, I might want to do some improv, I might want to do some sketch workshops, I might want to do some clowns, then come on down to Fat Penguin Improv Centre. Fucking hell. Oh, I gotta keep that. So I think a lot of people would assume that the comedy world is pretty, what's the word, competitive, pretty political, stuff like that. But you know what? It's not that bad at all. Like, some of the nicest people I've met in the last year or so from doing comedy. And these guys are one of them. Some of the same people that bring you the Fat Improv Comedy Centre that we mentioned earlier. A few of them actually do a rival podcast of mine that will be starting around the same kind of time as this one. So we've had a little chat and we thought, do a little cross promotion, help each other out a little bit. So it is the Sacred Fool Podcast. That's the Sacred Fool Podcast. I have to say it twice because I can't talk properly. But yeah, check it out, guys. These are some awesome guys. Obviously, as of recording this, it hasn't come out yet, same as mine. So we're both looking to come out around the same time, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do. I know the guys, I know it's going to be good, so I'm looking forward to it as much as you. So yeah, once again, all links, any information you need will all be in the description below. But Sacred Fool Podcast, remember that? Remember this? Remember us all. The last thing we have for you is the In Your House stand-up comedy night, which is coming the last Wednesday of the month. I should know. It's July 31st, obviously organised by myself. It will be at the Old Bill and Pub. I'm just going to leave that in. It will be at the Old Bill and Bull Pub in Yardley, just down the road from Swan Island, on the Coventry Road. Once again, all these links, etc., will be in the description. Yeah, it's just a nice chilled out night. I'll be emceeing myself, and it'll just be some of the best guys from all around West Midlands. Some of the guys you've seen on this podcast and hopefully will see in the next couple of weeks as well will be performing there. Some of them, there'll be some people you won't have seen before, some newcomers, some people that are doing a bit longer, some sexy ass people, hello. And then we'll have Rio as well, so there's him too. Yeah. But yeah, so without further ado, I will stop talking to you about advertisers now. I can stop feeling like a shell of a man, and I will put you straight back to the In Your House comedy podcast with Luke, the Lukeman, Anthony Mcdonnell. Take it away. I love you. And good night. There's a difference between being one of those, you know, those kind of people that are always like the macho, manly men kind that always talk about fights, always have to have something like that. It's a big difference between them and just people that don't care and are cool with it.
Yeah, just have a smoke and be cool, everyone. You don't even need to have a smoke to be cool. No pressure, like, you know what I mean?
But you do.
You can eat it. You can eat the weed.
Don't fuck with edibles, man. I've done it before, and it's just too much. Like, and you don't realise it's too much until it's too much, and then it's stuck with you for a few hours, you know.
Well, that's the point. Is when you digest it, it's literally in your system for ages. Like, I don't like 2.5 Men. Like, and I ended up watching 2.5 Men for 5 hours just because the remote was on the other side of the room, and I ate a weed cookie, and I just sat through 5 hours back-to-back episodes, and I was like, I don't like this show, man. I don't like this show at all.
But why is it so amazing?
The remote was just over there, but I do like Charlie Sheen. God bless his soul. I was like,
He's not dead.
I know, but when Charlie Sheen got hit with the HIV, that hit me, man.
The
HIV.
Hit with the HIV.
The HIV to the hip hop, and you don't stop your white
It's
bloodstream
ravaged him as
cells.
well. Fucking ravaged him as well. He's one of those people you can see. It's got like
I haven't seen him recently, anything, but now I always liked his films and stuff. When I was like, and things that I saw him in, he was in Spin City as well, which is a sitcom. He took over for Michael J. Fox when Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's got too much, and I think he had to retire from acting for a bit.
Yeah.
But that's why I always liked him. So I didn't really like the writing on the show. I just liked him as a character, and I'm like, our old Charlie, he's still keeping it real, because it's like so much of the things with his character were like nods to the audience about himself, about him being like fucking crazy drug sex maniac Charlie Sheen. And I was a kid, I used to look up to that shit, and I was like, yeah, man.
I love the fact that the kid in it, I forget, Jake, the actor who played him, like wanted to leave after a bit, didn't he? Because he couldn't deal with the deplorableness, because he became like a I can't remember if it was Christian.
Yeah, he did. He became
a Scientologist.
No, he became some form of off-brand Christianity and stuff. And he said he couldn't consent, like condone sort of the ethics that the show was promoting and stuff. And he was going to go off and live like a quiet, humble life. You know what? And in some ways, I can respect that. Do you know what I mean? That's not for everybody. There was. He
didn't do it though. He came back because he still came back and carried on. But yeah, I appreciate that as well. I can respect that.
Yeah, no, totally. There was a guy. There was a song from the 90s. Was it "Don't Let Go"? You've got the music in you. I can look up who made the song. Because I remember this band. They actually had like a killing single back in the late 90s, and it was a sort of alternative rock. I think it went to #1. And they didn't. I don't recall them ever dropping a big single. I remember reading years later that the guy who was like the lead singer and writer of the band just determined that living like the Hollywood sort of lifestyle just wasn't the thing for him, and he found it to be like a very deplorable sort of place.
Yeah, you hear that a lot, don't you?
The entertainment industry, and so when people like Mace, the rapper as well, he gave up like the hip hop lifestyle to go and be a preacher, and some other people,
They're two very different things.
Well, he came back and forth a few times. There's been a lot of debate on that in the hip hop community. But
I personally don't have anything wrong with that. Like, do you want to go do your preaching thing or whatever, and then come back to hip hop? You don't have to just pick one or two. Especially nowadays.
But it was like when he came back, he wasn't as good. He wasn't as good. Do you know what I mean? Like whenever people retire, do you know what I mean? Jay-Z was like he's doing wicked business-wise, but just as a rapper. But that's not what he's. That's not his main focus now. Anyway, Michael Jordan with the basketball. When Kanye said it on one of his albums, like, "Don't leave while you're hot. That's how Mace screwed up." So sometimes when you're riding the tidal wave of momentum.
Baseball, didn't he?
Pardon?
He went to baseball, didn't he? If I remember correctly, for a bit.
Yeah.
Failed. The whole Space Jam thing was actually legit.
Space Jam 2 is being filmed right now.
Yeah, man. With
is it LeBron?
LeBron James. Yeah, that's it. I'm down for that.
I might watch it. You know what? The Space Jam 1 soundtrack was banging. It was banging.
I think I was too young at that point for that.
It was absolutely solid. It had He Who Shall Not Be Named singing, "I believe I can fly."
Oh, okay.
And then there was a song which I think had Busta Rhymes, LL Cool J, and Method Man, and hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em low, hit 'em low, hit 'em.
That should have been R. Kelly's song.
Yeah, man.
I'm just dying over here.
He did fly like Icarus and reached the highest heights, flew too close to the sun.
What would you prefer to do? By the way, do you want to take a break or just carry on for a bit and then just whack it one in one?
Yeah, just carry on, man.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to throw some conspiracy theories at you because I think you'll be. I don't know. I just can. Actually, you were looking for something. You were looking for a band,
shit! Yeah, I was looking for the name of the dude from that song.
Yeah. Actually, I won't get into what I was going to say before we do that. Been watching a lot of well, I love conspiracy theories. I hate using that term conspiracy theories because as soon as you say that, people just hear it and it's like, oh, okay, whatever, bullshit. But like when you said earlier, you mentioned the fact that a lot of them come from some kind of truth, and there is, but a lot of people just jump on the dumb stuff straight away though, too much.
I remember the song. It was New Radicals. Don't Let Go. You got the music in you. It's called You Get What You Give. Sorry, brand new Radicals. You Get What You Give. That was a song from the late 90s. It was really awesome alternative rock band. They probably had an album. I didn't check it out.
Yeah, I recognise the name.
But I always just keep that song on my iPod and stuff. And the guy who wrote that, I remember reading an interview with him, and he just said he decided like the Hollywood lifestyle wasn't for him. And I've read about a few actors and actresses as well who are actually doing quite well. Like they've come off a big film or a big series, make a chunk of money off of that, and they just said like the interpersonal politics of the entertainment industry was just too much to put myself through. Like so, I was like, I'll just go live a normal life and I'll pick up a project every once in a while that I personally just really want, rather than trying to just keep momentum going, taking different projects.
I think you get that with a lot of things of politics though. Like it's not too bad, to be fair. But you still get that in the comedy scene, like the Birmingham comedy scene. You do get it, you know.
Everywhere, but
you get it everywhere. Like you said,
it's the game. But as I say, you got to just
I think you're the same person as well, and you can just just have discussions about things and all that. It doesn't need to get like that. Like the politics side of it.
It's more so just the comment sections of the internet. Everywhere's popping on the comment sections of the internet. Do you know what I mean? So that's what it is like. People can make one innocuous comment, and people think they are personally speaking on me and my personal beliefs. I will fight them to the death on the mount on this.
I should be outraged. I need to be outraged.
And then
I should be outraged for that person over there. They're not outraged, but I'm going to be outraged.
And I was probably just scrolling past, and it was just this is funny. I'm like, oh my God, you're attacking me and my worldview. And I was just like, bro, I was just making a passing comment.
I just have a different worldview, that's all.
And so sometimes I don't jump into that anymore, and then sometimes I do, and then I feel like I've been stupid again. There was no need. I've spent this 45 minutes arguing back and forth, and it's not even a position where I'm not upset. Some people are like, oh, black you, I get upset. I don't black people, like, I'm not upset. I'm just like, oh, is this what we're doing?
It's fun, man.
Comment section warfare. And so I try not to get pulled into it, because I don't take it seriously, but some people do. Like, I think I've spoken to people, and
it's the easiest way to communicate as well.
And they've come away from the computer, like, it's affecting our lives. And I'm like, like, nah, it's like, just imagine it's like a game on the screen. I know they're real people or whatever, but it's not like that. Like, it's like comedy is not like hip hop, where like you see someone who's talking shit in the comment section and they're gonna roll up on you and smash you. That's rarely gonna happen. I'm not even gonna do that.
It could happen, but it's not good. Not likely.
I'm not gonna do that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure like most of the so it's really not like that. It's I think. Yeah, so it turns out to just be these virtual screaming matches.
And they are fun to do. Like I do it. I did the exact thing earlier. I got into one. I don't do it very often. I stay on Facebook as much as I can in general. I think that kind of stuff's bad for people, man. But I did it earlier. It's fun. You can't help but do it. Like, if you've got an opinion on shit as well, if you're a smart person, you can't help but look at the majority of shit that people post and be like, well, that's not completely true.
I know.
You can't help but point it out.
Do you know what it is as well? I think it depends on the generations sometimes.
Yeah.
So like, because I see a lot of comments about like people who are sort of our age who grew up like online gaming sometimes, and just the smack you used to just talk in the comment sections about like, I'll kill your whole family on this game.
If someone could hear someone like who's got a microphone on and they're playing against someone else, if you could hear the shit they're saying, it's oh my God.
Yo, me and my mates, we used to go on chat roulette back in the day. Do you know what chat roulette is?
Yeah.
So
it's called Omegle now, I think.
I don't know, but maybe I'll check it out again.
Yeah.
But like, it was a random social media thing. You click on the webcam. This is for people who don't know what it is, and it takes you to someone else who's on there in a random anywhere in the world who's also on that program with a webcam. And you just speak or interact with other people in the room. It got famous because most of the people on there were just geezers with their dicks out masturbating.
As you imagine.
Hoping to talk to a woman with their dicks out. And
it's shocking how often it works as well. I used to see that a lot, like videos of people like finding the girl that went along with it.
I was like, every 3 or 4 videos would be a dick, but I'd see some funny shit on there.
Yeah.
So what was on there? I saw a man have sex with his girlfriend in front of me. I know that's not funny, but I was like...
It could be funny.
I was just flipping through.
Depending on the size of the penile.
No other people like flip channels straight away. I think I was with my mates who were just like smoking. And there was some dude, I think he was in South America somewhere, and he was like having sex with his girlfriend over a chair, and they were looking at us all in the eyes through our screen. And there was just like 4 brothers having a beer. We're like...
Stop making eye contact.
They wanted the eye contact. We were creasing. We were like, go on, son. Valhalla.
Valhalla. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's the thing. The majority of the internet is just naked people.
But now I'm saying some more weird shit. I seen a fucking. This is the weirdest one that I saw. It was I could just see like the head of something like sort of furry. I couldn't see what it was. I could just see some sort of fur, and then a guy pointing the camera at his face, and then the camera's moving again, and the camera pointed at like a bunch of people in a room, and like they're all just like laughing and sort of pointing at the webcam where we are, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And he points down again, points up at the geezer, and he points down, and he's got his dick in a dog's mouth, and he's at a party, and everyone is watching our reaction on a screen to seeing this geezer with his dick in a dog's mouth, and we're like, yo! And then it turns.
That must have been one good party, because naturally, only good parties you do that at.
Yeah, and then, the camera's pointed at these people, and they're looking at our reactions of us being like.
Oh, that's great.
They were white people. I think it was America. I remember. I was like, yo, what's this, fam?
Sadly, stupidity runs deeper than skin colour, so it could be any of them.
Yeah, man. And then also, we used to get racial abuse, but it used to be funny. And it's like, racism's not funny. I mean, we would just scroll, and it would be rooms of different dudes somewhere else in the world of like a different race, and then we'd all just cuss each other, the other guys in the other room. Yeah. Like, I had an argument with some American guys, and they thought I was Mexican. I'm not Mexican.
That's how I described you earlier. I don't know if you saw the post that I put up. Yeah.
Is it reference? That's in reference to one of my jokes.
To Mexican drug lord. I know. I remembered.
For the audience, the
audience
don't know the joke.
Forgetting you're there. I'm sorry.
Like,
hi.
It's not just a conversation between me and Cole, breaking the fourth wall to you, the audience. So yeah, I've got a joke where I say, I look a bit like a Mexican drug lord, etc. But what was the time from that? Sorry.
Huh? What was what?
The Mexican drug lord. How did we get in there last night for a sec?
Oh yeah, because I put it on the thing, and you were saying that someone. Oh yeah, you went through to another webcam, and the people were calling you a Mexican.
Yeah, I was in an argument with some guys. I think they were in Detroit in America, and they're in like a basement in Detroit, and they were like, hey, where you from, man? And I was like, England. And they were like, yeah, stay in England and drink your fucking tea, man. Talk to the fucking queen and have some fucking muffins, man. And then I was like, fuck you guys in your mom's basement. I was like, you fucking hillbilly trash. And they're like, yo, bro, you don't know about the D, man. We're from the D. You don't know how hard it is in the D. And I was like, hard D, bro? You got hard D? And then they were calling me a Mexican, like, you fucking filthy Mexican, you wetback spick. And I was crazy. And I was popping. And I was like, oh, you two little punks or whatever. And this is just stupid kid shit on the internet. People thinking, like, why are you engaged in this? This is what you do in chat roulette.
It is, man.
So
me
and these two American guys were just giving each other bravado for a webcam. And like, that's what we've chosen to do on our Friday evenings. We're going to go.
I'm going to grab my Babyface. Sorry. Karen.
Alright, Sam.
I can shout over.
Yeah, just me and some stupid American guys. And stupid me, I was there doing it as well. Just giving each other bravado through a webcam, like,
Oh, it's like you said, though, you can either, like, we can cut it off if we need to, when I've jumped off. Yeah, I love that kind of shit anyway. I just can't help but get involved in it. Oh. I can never be asked to have conversation. That's my thing. I can never be asked to go out of my way to have a conversation with someone. I'm not much of a phone talker, which is why if I'm going to have like a little debate or an argument, it always comes out on Facebook and that. And a few times I get all by text, something like that.
I prefer phone calls. A lot of people don't like phone calls now. It's like, why are you phoning? Because I can just literally stream of consciousness say the things that I want to say. That's it. Like, I don't need to practice. I don't need to draft it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Also, because it takes time consuming. It's much more time consuming.
Yeah, that is one.
My hands are occupied and I can't do something else. So I'd rather be on the phone to you, and then I can game, I can cook, I can do something else. When I'm texting, I have to be currently holding the phone at all times, which I don't like.
Oh yeah, I'm not one of those people. Like when you're in a new relationship and the norm nowadays apparently is you need to be talking all the time. You know, like, there's a constant message going on in the background. Like you said, you're always going to have your phone in hand. You're always going to be messaging throughout the day.
Yeah, I get into trouble for that because I just can't do it. Like, I've got so much going on within a day, just work, going to do comedy things, writing, sending emails. Do you know what I mean? Coming up with ideas for projects and stuff. Totally. So I do, I will holler back and stuff. But it's like at the end of the day, after we've both done our thing, if we're not meeting up, like, I'll give you a call and have a chat before the night is over. I know that sounds like a dating plan for future prospects out there, but it's just like, sometimes just with the amount of admin I do, I can't do that.
I hear you.
There are friends. I have like an admin queue of messages to reply to from my mates, and I'm like, these 6 people have messaged me. They all need a reply. Each one of these replies will take 7 minutes. If I do one, several minutes. If I do one, I've got to do all of them. Yeah. So I may as well do them all.
As soon as you've shown up online.
Yeah. If I do it like, yo, you're online. You saw these messages. And I'm like, So I'm like, I'm gonna have to just settle down and do them all.
Yeah, I hear you. I hate that shit, man. It's just annoying, and you get anxiety from it as well. I can understand why people get that nowadays. Like the concept of like, I can't be asked to go on because as soon as you go on, you're gonna get bombarded by people. I get that. I understand when people say that.
Definitely, and depends on how you take it as well. Especially if like we don't have many social media followers. Do you know what I mean? So I imagine when you get on a big scale, let's say if you open your inbox and there were 10,000 hate messages for you. When me and my friend did that documentary that I referenced earlier in this podcast, me and my friend Ricardo Classa, the drag queen. And so we're in that documentary, and then I think it was aired in Germany. I think it got like 80,000 or 100,000 views or whatever.
Oh, well, online?
Yeah, online. And I think it was on German television as well. And me and him one day, we just got stoned and we read the comment section and we just read all like the homophobic hate comment towards him. Other people would be like, we must stop this. We were just laughing. My friend is a gay man, he doesn't give a fuck or whatever. We were just like, these dickheads, let's read all the best hate messages. We spent an afternoon doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
it's fucking fun, man.
If more people will be able to take it like that, and other people will be like, why should they have to? And it's like, just because these are just morons who had access to this at the tip of their fingertips to say something. These people aren't going to come and do anything to more than I'm not saying that gay hate crimes don't happen. I don't even want to get into that whole discussion.
You're just talking about people that comment hate.
Yeah, as in people labelling a comment section, some fool being a fool on the internet, like, oh my god.
Keyboard warrior.
And then other people just like, this is funny. Let's go and just look at all the arsehole shit that people say in the comment section.
Yeah, it's easy to take everything negatively, but it's easier. It's easier to take stuff negatively, but it's better to take stuff just take stuff as a joke. Just don't take stuff too seriously.
I know.
Like you said.
As I say, some people accidentally radicalise themselves on the internet, and I've seen it many a time, and it's not necessarily towards a religion.
I've never heard that phrase before, but I like that.
Or specifically towards a specific cause, but just by finding a new interest and solely just getting sucked into that and that only. They only watch things related to that. They get caught in a video cycle. They're marketed more things to do with that. Whatever this new subculture or cause is that takes over their life. And they've just done it to themselves just by simply by having access to an infinite pool of information about that. Like, we can just go further into the rabbit hole. You've got a phone. You've got the internet. The amount of things that you actually have access to.
That's the thing. People should be getting smarter nowadays because of the endless amount of information that's available. But it's like across the board. Apparently, you can only go so far with this. But that people are getting dumber because it's all there. They don't need to remember it as much. And, people argued this when the first form of writings in general, like back with ancient Egypt and that, they argued at the time that. With what scriptures we've got, that they fear that the human mind will start going down because they don't need to remember as much stuff. They don't need to have it in their head because it's all written down. It's all there for them whenever they want.
Well, yeah, I think critical thinking skills are important. So things like this new generation, like technology, their ability to use and make technology is partially where, there's people are saying that is where the intelligence is now, and some of these skills are outdated, but there's still having the ability to be able to reach into those old sort of skills that you might need if technology was to ever collapse.
Oh yeah. I can't see that happening. I know people talk about that, like if there was some kind of EMP or
that's
comic strike that could take down.
In the computer game Deus Ex, which I've always loved, that's like you like conspiracy theories. That whole plot line from that series of games is about, I think it's about like shadow governments fighting for control of the world.
Yeah.
And you're like a secret agent, and you sort of get to decide who you work for and what political players you're going to play for. And at the end of the game, you can either give the control of a civilization over to a secret civilization like the Illuminati.
A secret organisation.
You can destroy all technology and turn society back a few hundred years and stuff. And people have to rebuild from nothing by just destroying all technology. And then the third one was that you give over control of the world to sentient machines. And you've built machines that are so efficient that they will make more efficient decisions than humans. So the AI is so developed that it was like, we've made a computer that's better than the human brain finally. This computer will make better decisions based on calculation. But that's the notion. So in the game,
what is better?
So at the end of the game, those are your three options. Yeah. So you can hand it over to just elite men. So it's the same as a government, etc. We have now, just but in a different, what it's continued to be as. Destroy technology, take us back, make people build up again, or hand the control over to the computers. What would you do, Carl?
I was about to say, in a way, you know what I would do out of those options? I would go back to as it is now, because I don't think the world is that bad, me personally. I don't think it's that... Like, a lot of these conspiracy theories seem to stem from the idea that the government's doing this to hide this, the government's doing that because they're doing this in secret. When my thing is that the government are pretty fucking inept. All governments... I don't believe in the government that much to think that, they're hiding this, that this is a conspiracy, they're doing this. But to answer your question, I'd say it is. But I think the better choice would be maybe, I don't know, like democratise democracy and start it again in a smaller sense. Or maybe rather than one leader, you break it up into different settlements, kind of like how you don't have, kind of like America, how you got different states, but then you'd have a president for each state.
I think what it is the issue with keeping it the same, which is one of the choices in the game, is just for society to continue as it is. Those people who we've left in charge, eventually they seek more and more control, and society expands as things develop. They need control over new things. If you come up with a new piece of technology, we need to legislate, we need to see what's going on, we need access to that. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of freedoms, like, they give you freedoms, but you shouldn't be able to, like, we're affording you this freedom, you be grateful. And I'm like, this is just an item that I made. Well, we're giving you the freedom to use it. Here is your license. You need a license to cut hair, you need a license to fish. You know what I mean? Like,
everything, man. Eventually, there's going to be internet licenses.
You want to turn on the sound on the telly in the pub, 20 grand a year, mate. That's what you've been in Wetherspoons. And there's like racehorse and there's TV with no sound on. It's like, that's how you get the cheap booze. Like, you were probably saving like 20k on the license fee. I don't know the actual economics behind it.
Because I've always needed bookies as well. I used to work in the bookies, and there's like a lot of cross marketing, not officially, but a lot of the people that go into Wetherspoons always go into the bookies as well because it's cheaper, like I said. But like not conspiracy theory, but we're talking about the government and that. Like, I think nowadays a lot of the reason people say these things aren't true, like we talk about aliens and stuff like that, is because if it was true, there would be a lot more videotapes of them and that nowadays. And there is a lot more. Like, have you ever heard of Bob Lazar?
I heard about him on the Joe Rogan thing, and I've heard what's going on. People are going to raid Area 51. So even though I don't watch everything, I keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on, sort of in the current.
Just going to, I mean, he
cultural sphere.
Yeah, he just said all this stuff back in the day, like in the 80s. Like, there was an Element 115 he talked about. There was all these other things that basically since been proved right, And it's like, if he was telling the truth about that, was he telling the truth about the alien ships they said he worked on? A lot of people say he wasn't, because obviously he just wants to make some money from that, which I understand, but he hasn't made literally a penny from it. Even the most recent documentary he did. He donated all the money to some science thing. So I have a lot of belief in that, just because after seeing the person, seeing in documentaries, he doesn't seem like...
No, you think he's a noble character?
Yeah. And if he's not, then it's like, well, what are you getting from this then? You get nothing. But,
people saying they're going to storm Area 51, I'm like...
No, you're not.
No, you're fucking not, mate. I imagine electrified fencing, like, I don't know what the kind of... Like, I imagine just...
They ain't gonna fucking work at all. Just the stuff we know about, like the guns and the drones, that would fuck them up.
Oh, interesting one. Did you hear about the Antifa person who was shot and killed in America yesterday trying to raid an immigration centre?
I've heard stuff about this Antifa thing and I don't know what it's all about, so
Antifa, they're sort of a left-wing sort of political sort of riot group.
And left-wing is more like...
So, they're more just on the progressive side of things. You know what? You're not the conservative. You're not left and right.
No, I've had this conversation before. I get confused what's left and what's right, just because the labels and that, So left is more the progressive.
Yeah. So
right's more like old school.
Yeah, definitely. More on one side, family values on the side, more LGBT leaning, more pro-immigration, more pro-welfare, things of that nature.
The left is generally the more smarter people. But it depends.
Well, I'm not going to get into that with you, Carl, because I feel smug left comments like that where people are like, oh, all right, Carl, where's your fucking mansion? No offense, Carl.
Give me a mansion. It's cool.
Yeah. So, no, just in relation to that. So, Antifa, they go out, they demonstrate and counter-demonstrate whenever there's demonstration from the right on and stuff. And they get into a lot of fight situations out there.
Going back to the one way, really.
And then the media have sort of been encouraging them to a certain extent. And I wouldn't say encouraging, but by not disavowing their
doing
behavior.
What the media do.
So if a group who was more politically leaning the other way was to be doing these behaviours, the mainstream media would cover it, they'd put it front and centre, and they'd say, these people from this group, these are bad, hate them. But the media would say,
good guys.
The media would say, these are the good guys, they're out fighting, demonstrating against racism,
doesn't matter what
sexism, fascism, fat shamingism, anything like that or whatever. So
everything ending in ear.
So their behaviour has been getting a bit more aggressive as of late. They're mainly in America, but I know they've got him in Europe. They've got him in Europe as well. They've got him here, and I think they've got him in Germany and Spain as well. I'm not quite sure, but I know they've got like sort of an international movement. And anyone who sort of comes against them, they're whooping ass out there basically. And some people are in favour of that. I'm not in favour of political violence, to be honest, because it's just one-upmanship. Do you know what I mean?
So any violence like that
if
never
you
helps.
can have three of your mates and you've all run up on some geezer, and then what about when they start doing it and then they get squatted up and they do like that? Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. It's like people say, like, if something happens, hit them back or whatever, or just hit them. Like, oh, fuck it, just punch a guy. But then it just escalates and just starts a whole new thing.
Well, if you go into the whole thing with that being your aim anyway, they're like, no, like, we're radicals, this is how you do it, like, bash the fash, if you will. and then I'm like, yeah, but if they start getting all juiced up as well, start carrying weapons as well, and it's just like, I want no part of either of these things. Everyone, go back to your fucking houses. Anyway, so in America, sort of the mainstream media have sort of been brushing under the carpet a lot of their behaviour, and even sort of encouraging it by not disavowing them. Like, they're out there, fighting the good fight, basically. And then one of them, I believe, yesterday tried to raid an immigration centre. In America, so border control centre.
So not raid, more like just basically take it over.
No, to like free the people. So if you're caught trying to enter the country illegally, or if you're about to be deported, it was like a processing centre.
It's the whole thing you see about children in cages and that.
Yeah, and then
marketed.
Yeah, I know. Well, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, they had her with that picture looking sad, like she was looking through the fences. But then there's a picture from the side, and she's looking in a car park, and she's not even looking in the prison. She's just looking at a car park, and it's just like a hilariously marketed picture.
Yeah.
Not to say that people aren't, not to say that people aren't, in immigration centres or immigration controls. But then
that's one thing that bothers me about social media in general and stuff like that, because it's all just made to look a certain way to go against a certain narrative. Everything on social media is just to back up a narrative.
Someone made a good point to me about the whole. They're like, they're putting people in cages, separating the families, and like a good point in relation to that, which someone said to me: if someone is a U.S. citizen and they commit a crime and they have their child with them, do they get to keep the child with them in prison? Does the kid go into prison with them? That does not happen in normal society anyway. So let's say you're out, you're with your dad, you're in a car, your dad's committed a crime, you're a child, you've been pulled over. Like, my son's coming to me, like whatever. No, the kid is going to another relative, the kid is going into social services. So that is actually the same treatment that a US citizen child would get. They would be more likely to be in a foster home or outside of one of those centres. But they're not set up for that. They've just touched down in the country. I imagine foster homes and the social care network is already stretched, thin.
I imagine that's crazy. But that's not an excuse. But at the same time, which is, I'm guessing what you were saying is that if they come over, and then I see what you're saying completely. I mean, were you saying?
The point. Do you want me to summarise? The point is, I'm neither pro nor anti-immigration. Okay. My point was in relation to that specific point about the American immigration detention centres. So the Antifa guy, he tried to run up in there like, I'm going to free all you guys. Like, no one should be, kicked out of the country or not allowed into the country.
Which I guess.
And he ran up in there with weapons and he shot him and he died.
Well, how do you expect?
Exactly. So, Carl, it was a fucking stupid idea, and everyone encouraging it. And so, as I say, I know some people don't believe in countries and borders and things of that nature.
They're not really there, I know.
But they fucking are, because they'll shoot you if you put
So you can
say that. So it's fine. Some people
don't believe in Australia.
And also, if I was born in conditions which I thought I had to escape from, I would do so. So I don't blame anybody who does it.
Yeah, you can't blame anyone that wants to come over, because why should they have to suffer for the whole life just because they're born in a different part of the world?
That's not my point. More so, because I do think you do have processes to make sure that these skiers who's just come across ain't just killed 6 motherfuckers. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, so I doubt I'm as leaning towards it as yourself, but as I say, I think
we put ourselves into a corner where we need to defend a certain point, haven't we?
No, it's not even that. It's just like, I think on certain things, like most people who are more left-leaning on a lot of things, they assume that what their belief is the general consensus. Sometimes you're like, we all think this, and I'm like,
that's ignorant.
I'm not quite. No, it's not so much. It's that more so you think of that as the default belief that So I don't blame anyone who would want to come here. Like my grandparents come here, and I completely respect that as well. But then I'm like, if they catch you, the law authority people, that's their job and that's what they do. If I got caught doing a crime and they get me, and I'm like, you got me, boys.
Because you can see it from both sides. You can see it from the government point of view, because it's just quite simply, we have these people here, we can't afford more.
So should they not enforce the law? Yeah. Obviously, but then obviously some laws are bad, so we can't even. That's a whole other philosophical thing.
Yeah, that's a whole next thing.
Like, should you obey the law? But it's in the law. But the laws could be bad. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's a big blanket statement, but at the same time, you can whittle it down to that could cover jaywalking and all the other crap,
Or even like controlling freedom of speech, even controlling the way people behave in day-to-day life. So we could get into that about the law, and that could be like a whole other podcast of another hour. Like, should you obey the law, Carl?
Depends what law.
No, it's a yes or a no question.
No.
Carl said it's okay to murder. Carl specifically endorses murder.
Murder of morals.
He has no morals.
I hear what you're saying. You say one thing about one side, and all of a sudden it's like I have issues with picking a political party, because there's a lot of that stuff I agree with, but then as soon as you agree with one part, there's loads that that you would disagree with. You know what I mean? You can't back a person fully or an opinion or a side or a group, because you're gonna have difference of opinions.
Yeah, I try to stay out of it really.
Yeah.
I have my opinions, but I'm not like a diehard anything. I'm just a dude who's like going out to work, like trying to make it in this crazy rat race of a world. And I think most people are like that. And most people just want to go about their day. And then there are the few people who are on the political soapboxes all the time, who are rallying everyone else up at every cry, and we're like, we're emotionally exhausted from all these politics. Like, no, did you see the new film and the gender representation in that new film?
Oh.
Did you feel you were represented?
What are you on about now? We were talking about it. It was like James Bond, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's all came from us talking about James Bond originally. When you were saying about that before, about like people getting kicking off and that, there's the other side of it as well. Have you heard about people kicking off about Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, a friend of mine phoned me and he was upset about it, but he's a black dude, and he was like...
Oh, yeah, just to let anyone know as well, if you don't know, it's the fact that it's obviously always been a white character in the films and that, you know, but it's going to be African-American woman, I think it is, that's doing...
It's a black chick. It's like, Carl's like, hey, it's ever... Yeah, so it used to be a redhead, now it's a black chick. Summarised. Anyway, yeah, so like a homie phoned me about that, and he was like, yo, I'm not liking this about the new Little Mermaid family, because I used to have childhood fantasies about her, and I was like, yo, here's a fish. And he was like, yeah, but is that going to be the same? And I was like, were you looking to take your children to this and just fantasize about having sex with this fictional fish woman? I was like, alright. And he goes, and he was like, other mans will be thinking that too. And my friend, he's got a thing for redheads. It could all just be to do with his redhead fetish or whatever. And it said, they're still giving her red hair? And it was like, what? I just thought he felt it wouldn't look natural.
No, yeah.
But she's a fucking cartoon fish.
So is it natural, really, what they're going for?
So, I don't know. So, with that, I don't really watch Disney films. What I do, suppose, because I watch Marvel and Star Wars. You've got me, Disney. I've got to give you my money somehow. I can't not give you a penny, can I, Disney? But
if you're going to get back into superhero films, though, from what you said earlier, I would very much recommend just watching Infinity War and Endgame. Fuck all the rest.
Of course, I've heard about them. I don't think people talk to me about them. Like, people come from the cinema like, yo, Luke, you need to go see this. We'll go again. And I'm just be like, I'm all right, man. I watched one this year and broke my superhero sabbatical.
Which one?
I watched Shazam.
Oh, that's the one I haven't watched.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It had 90s attitude. It has we're red 90s kids, bro. It had a nice little throwback.
I could see that from the
It had a throwback vibe to it that I really liked. Like the 90s is far enough away now where we can reference it nostalgically.
Oh, I remember that. Do you remember? I remember.
Do you want to call rap in a minute at 120?
Huh?
Do you want to call rap in a minute at 120?
Oh yes. Oh, you got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this. It's not cutting it short. It's gone longer, but it feels like cutting it short. We just chatted on too much.
Yeah, man.
It's not a bad thing.
So yeah, the In Your House podcast. It's been live. Like, I hope some of y'all watch this, and if no one does, then also remember the thing I said earlier about if I die, and then like tap up the comment section and tell me if my wake was any good.
So basically, if this doesn't go very well, we're going to kill Luke to get some more views. Cool.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll kill Carl.
Maybe. It's probably better.
Episode 3, me and Carl fight to the death. Episode 4, Luke's In Your House podcast.
So just on conclusion, man.
No, thanks for man.
No worries. Let us know a bit of what you got going on again soon, just to get everyone.
Yeah, I'll reiterate that. So October 10th at the Jewellery Quarter in the church in Birmingham. Absolute culture smash. Me,
I'll be there for that.
Shams Aman and Sachin Kumar Endran. £7 in advance, 10 on the door. and try and get a camera crew down there.
They just hit you up on Facebook, I'm guessing, to get a ticket in advance.
Yeah. So either I'll come and sell you a physical ticket, or I'll send you the link to an online ticket. So anyone who's got me on Facebook, Luke Anthony Mcdonnell, hashtag Lukeman Rides Again on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube.
Yeah. We'll link it all as well to this, any of that stuff, so it'll be linked in hopefully.
Yeah, definitely, man. Support the podcast. Support Carl. He's a good dude. Come through. He's got a nice little setup in this room.
It's alright, and it's surprising. It took enough time to buy all the stuff, so yeah, man. But so we'll have more episodes of this coming up as it goes. We're going to be hoping to do it weekly with a different person each week. We'll get Luke back eventually for it.
I live around the corner, so so
sweet.
I might just come around and just shout shit in the background sometimes.
And then, we've got my own, there's an In Your House comedy gig at the end of the month as well. There'll be more details as it goes nearer, so if anyone wants to come along to that, then cool. But other than that, that's a wrap then, I think.
So,
my man, thank you very much.
Carl.
All you guys, take care, much love.